Have you ever noticed that most people don't feel rich when they earn more money, but they do feel slightly calmer when they have a little saved? That's uncomfortable to admit because it goes against everything we're told. We're told freedom comes from higher income, better jobs, bigger titles. But for many people in the United States and Europe, real freedom quietly begins much earlier, often around a number that sounds almost boring. $15,000. Not invested, not locked away, just sitting there. Let me explain why that number changes how people think, move, and breathe. Imagine a fairly normal situation. You're in your late 20s or early 30s. You live in a mid-sized American city or a European urban area. You're working full-time, nothing fancy, maybe $55,000 in the US or 45,000 euros in Europe. After taxes, that becomes something like $3,300 a month, sometimes less. Your rent or mortgage takes $1,200. Car payment or public transport, $350. Insurance, utilities, phone, internet, another $400. Groceries, $400. Student loans or credit cards, $300. Before you've done anything irresponsible, you're already down to maybe $650. That $650 is supposed to cover clothes, social life, emergencies, gifts, travel, and any sense that you're moving forward. So you do what most people do. You spend carefully, but not strategically. You don't feel reckless, but you also don't feel safe. Now imagine something small happens. Your car needs repairs. Your laptop dies. Your landlord raises rent. Your contract isn't renewed. Nothing dramatic, nothing tragic, just inconvenient. But suddenly, your entire life feels fragile. This is where most people make a mistake, not because they're careless, but because the system quietly nudges them into it. Instead of building cash buffer, they focus on lifestyle continuity. They keep the same car, the same apartment, the same spending rhythm, because changing those things feels like failure. So they use credit, a card here, a payment plan there, a temporary loan that quietly becomes permanent. The math looks harmless at first. A $2,000 emergency on a credit card, minimum payment, $50 a month, interest rate, 20%. It feels manageable. But after 3 years, you've paid over $700 in interest for nothing tangible. And more importantly, you've taught your brain something dangerous, that discomfort should be avoided immediately, even if it costs later. This is not a discipline problem, it's a psychological one. Humans are wired to protect short-term stability over long-term resilience. We don't hate debt because it feels abstract, but we hate lifestyle downgrades because they feel public. That's why people earning $70,000 feel poorer than someone earning $45,000 with savings. Now here's where the story quietly changes. At some point, often unintentionally, someone saves their first real cash reserve. Not $1,000, not emergency-ish, but around $15,000. Something strange happens. They don't celebrate, they don't post about it, they don't feel rich, but their behavior changes. They stop panicking over emails from work. They negotiate slightly harder. They wait before making purchases. Not because they became smarter, but because fear loosened its grip. Let's look at the math. If your monthly expenses are $2,500, then $15,000 is 6 months of life. 6 months where you can say no, you can walk away, you can pause. That's not wealth, that's leverage. And leverage is what most people confuse with income. Here's the hidden system flaw no one explains. Modern life punishes people who have zero cash buffer, regardless of income. You can earn $100,000 and still be trapped if every dollar is pre-assigned. You can earn $40,000 and feel calm if your expenses are flexible and your savings exist. Financial stress is not about numbers on a paycheck, it's about optionality. When you have $15,000 saved, you stop making decisions under pressure, and pressure is expensive. People under pressure take bad job offers, accept unfair deadlines, overpay for convenience, avoid necessary conflict, delay important changes. Over 10 years, those small compromises cost more than most investments ever earn. But psychologically, something deeper happens. Your identity shifts. You stop seeing money as something that arrives and disappears. You start seeing it as stored time. Every dollar saved is future breathing room. That's why financially intelligent people don't rush to put money to work too early. They first make money boring, stable, quiet, unemotional. They don't ask, how much can I earn? They ask, how long can I survive without earning? That's a very different mindset. And it's why many people who cross their first $15,000 don't upgrade their lifestyle. They downgrade their anxiety. If this moment is ignored, the long-term impact is subtle but severe. You become permanently dependent on income flow. Any disruption feels catastrophic. You optimize life for predictability, not fulfillment. You stay in roles too long. You tolerate environments you shouldn't. You delay risks that could actually improve your future, not because you're weak, but because your margin for error is zero. But once that margin exists, even slightly, you think longer term. You don't feel brave, you feel clear. That clarity compounds. You invest better. You spend slower. You work with more intention. And here's the most important part. This freedom doesn't come from financial tricks. No side hustle, no secret asset, no dramatic leap. Just the absence of urgency. That's the strange freedom of the first $15,000. It doesn't change your lifestyle. It changes your nervous system. And that's why it matters far more than people realize. If this way of thinking made you pause for a moment, you might want to stay around. You can subscribe if you'd like to explore money with more clarity and less noise.